Poltergeist presents Terrifying Tales.
Hi, I'm Debbie.
And I'm Allison.
And we're the Poltergals.
Spooky.
This is from the book Ghost Stories of Texas by Joanne Christensen, published by Lone Pine Publishing. You can find them at lonepinepublishing.com or at ghostbooks.net.
A spirit brings good news. In 1969, an Alpine, Texas woman named Jane Gibbons received one of the most welcome messages of her life from a ghost. It was a hot July afternoon, and Jane had hung the closed sign on the front door of her beauty salon early. She was tired and wanted to go home for a nap. Jane needed to rest her body and her mind, which had been consumed with worry about her son, Butch, a sergeant with the 196th Light Infantry Division in Vietnam. Butch's wife had given birth to their first child, a daughter named Jamie Lynn, only weeks before. Still, he was not scheduled to return home until October. The fighting was particularly bad, and in his letters, it became increasingly clear that Butch was beginning to doubt that he would make it back to his family. As Jane lay down on the couch to rest on that July day, she was wishing that there was some way he could come home sooner. As Jane slept, she began to dream that there was a party taking place in the house. Many people milled about, laughing and talking. None of them seemed to notice when the front door opened and a young man in army combat clothes walked in. He wore pants, boots, and ammunition-filled vest. The fellow was deeply tanned, and Jane was struck by the contrast between his bronze skin and beautiful white teeth. He smiled at Jane and crossed the room to meet her. "Did you know that Butch will be home on the 20th of August? The young man whispered the words directly to Jane's ears. She awoke immediately, filled with joy and great confidence that her dream would be true. Jane was so certain that the message was real that she told everyone she knew about it. She called Butch's young wife, Janice. She told her customers at the salon. She even shared the story with Butch the next time she wrote him. When he replied, it was a brief note, dated August 21st. "I'll be home soon," he wrote. "They picked me up out of a battlefield on August 20th, saying I had orders to go home. Your dream came true. Thank God." Butcher's orders were the result of a clerical error, which was discovered by the time he had reached Da Nang when he showed Jane's letter to the superstitious officer in charge. However, the man decided to let the order stand. By December 3rd, Butch was back on Texas soil. The family reunion was absolutely joyous. Butch was at last able to hold his tiny baby girl and spend time visiting with each of his loved ones. Jane, grateful to be with her son, listened to every word of his stories. When he brought out photos that he had taken in Vietnam, she examined each one of them. One, in particular, took her breath away. "That's the boy of my dream," she exclaimed, pointed to a tan young soldier with a brilliant smile. Butch looked at the picture and grew pale. "That was Wendell," he explained. "He was a friend and a fellow tank commander. Because of the dangerous landmines that they faced every day, the two would take turns leading the tank column. There had been only one occasion when they didn't adhere to the arrangement. It was that day after I got the news that Jamie had arrived," said Butch. "I was scheduled to leave that day, but Wendell insisted on going first. He said, 'You've got something to go home for now, with the new baby.' It was a generous favor that cost the young soldier his life. Wendell's tank exploded a mine that day, and he was killed along with two of Butch's other army buddies. The young man had sacrificed himself. It may have been the ultimate act of friendship, but it was not his last. Wendell's final kind gesture took place the day his spirit visited Jane, easing her mind with the good news of her son's safe and imminent return. Be sure to follow us on Facebook or on YouTube at The Poltergals, or on Instagram at @the_Poltergals. You can also find us wherever you get your podcast or at roguemedianetwork.com.
You've been listening to The Poltergals.
A Rogue Media Network podcast.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.